Yo, what's going on, everyone? I want to talk today about a realization that I had recently about how remaining calm in any situation will yield the best results possible in anything that you're going through. And the way that I realized that was by having a moment where anxiety and fear over a particular, actually, I don't even think it was about a particular situation in general. It was just like a moment of fear or anxiety came upon me in a state of where I was actually feeling calm. And I think something inside of me was like trying to be like, hey, you need to feel anxious right now. And it didn't give me a reason, but like then my mind started to make them. And then I was like, hold up. No, I don't need to be anxious right now. In any situation, if I remain calm, I think more clearly through the situation. So essentially what happened was, like, the feeling came on me to get anxious, worried, nervous. And I think that our minds will sometimes do this, at least for me, mine does, in a moment where it's like, there's really nothing there for my mind to complain about. So my mind sometimes makes up a situation in which, like, it's trying to be proactive, but it's like using a tool to try to help with the situation when there's nothing going on, but it's not helping anything other than adding negative energy into your existence. I don't know if anybody can relate to that, what I'm talking about. I think that you guys probably can, because I don't think that I'm the only one that goes through this where we have mind tricks. But anyways, at the end of the day, what I did in that moment was I was aware of that moment kind of coming onto me, of that feeling of fear, and I was able to say, nope, I'm not going to choose to have this feeling inside of me. I'm not going to allow it to stay there, to be there. There's no reason for it to be there. So I went back to being calm. And so what I realized is that, like, that actually fits in with what we know scientifically speaking. We have a prefrontal cortex, as some of you neurological nerds might also know. What it does is it is in control of, like, the executive reasoning, the higher level of functioning, like where kind of like the overriding response to the fight or flight fear instinct that is like more of an animal, like primal instinct within us, that when something for whatever reason strikes us as there might be danger, a lot of times what we will do is we will engage that automatically, that fear response, that fight or flight, and it elevates your blood pressure, gets your heart beating. It just kind of puts you on alert. And what the prefrontal cortex does is it gives you a higher level of reasoning that says, hey, I'm assessing the situation with my higher intelligence, and in this moment, I'm just standing here. There's nothing going on. I don't need to enact this fear response in this moment. Instead of enacting this fear response, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, in any situation, if I remain calm and that fight or flight urgency isn't just kind of overriding my senses, what I'm going to be able to do is I'm going to be able to think clearly. I'm going to be able to use actual wisdom and rational response versus just maybe a knee-jerk reaction because I'm afraid. And maybe if I don't even have a reason to be afraid, what we do, though, is we allow fear and anxiety and those feelings to kind of govern the moment and dictate what course of action we might take. So I guess what I realized was that fear is a tool that my mind was using, thinking that it was going to help my situation, but it wasn't going to. It was actually doing the opposite. That's what fear does. It actually makes it more difficult for you to have a correct response. So the question then becomes, why do we ever fear? What is the point of fear? Now, I get it that like we're so used to having it. I think some moments where we get afraid and we're like, hey, you know, I should be scared right now. But let's break this down. What does fear really do for you? I can see maybe being alert, but can't you do that while you're being calm as well? Is it possible to, in all times, just keep your emotions in check? These anxiety, worry, or fear responses in check, to be like, instead of worrying or being afraid in this moment, I'm just going to be calm and I'm going to think through this. Now, a lot of times we will go through a situation where we don't know what the answer is. The unknown is there, and so we are worried that it's going to turn out the right way. So sometimes we think that we need to engage that worrying in order to, I don't know, have the best results. But what does it do other than provide a negative level of energy in you? So the question then becomes, okay, all right, can I control this situation or not? Is this situation in my control? If it's a situation that's out of your control and there's nothing that you can do about it, again, why worry? Because what does that do? Will that fix the situation? If you can't control it, does worrying fix the situation? Nope. Okay, so now let's say that you can control the situation. Does worrying help the situation? Or would a better response be to calmly and with a clear head, think through it and say, all right, here's my solutions? Because I think what a lot of times, I know I've been guilty of this, that when I get into a situation where I don't know the answer, I'll start worrying, but I won't come up with a solution for it. So if you're not going to come up with a solution for the problem, then I don't want to hear it, so to speak. Like, I don't need, let's see, 281. Okay, next exit. I don't need to sit there and continue to bring it up and dwell on this thought if I'm not going to do anything about it. That's solving nothing. So I think essentially, if you've got a solution to the problem, then do it. Then think about that. Think about what your solutions can be and fix it. But if you're not going to think of a solution and you're just going to sit there and worry, I ain't got time for that. So that's what I'm saying to myself. So calm response will always be the best. And there are also scientific studies that they've done that show that you can't think as clearly or as logically when you're in a fearful response. It actually kind of like puts some kind of like a filter on your mind to where you're not able to use those higher levels of rational thinking when you're allowing yourself to be ruled by fear. So those are some thoughts. Fear is a tool that should be obsolete. It doesn't solve anything other than making you scared. Using your higher level of reasoning, prefrontal cortex thinking, is going to save you every time in a situation. Remain calm. Fix the problem if you have a solution for it. If you don't have a solution for it, either shut up and figure one out, or don't even worry about it at all. And if you can't control the situation, then you're not doing anything by worrying about it either. That's what I got for you. Love y'all. I will talk to you next time when the mood strikes.